Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the petals on something you probably see every single day, but maybe don't really see. We're talking about the flower, and it turns out it's on a secret mission.
You know, this quote is the perfect place to start. It completely flips our whole perspective, doesn't it? All the things we love about flowers, their colors, their incredible scents, the sheer joy they bring us, that's all just a beautiful accident. It's secondary to a much more fundamental biological drive.
Exactly. Every single flower you see is a marvel of biological engineering. It's a sophisticated machine designed for one high-stakes mission. This isn't about looking pretty for us. This is about the survival of an entire species.
So, to really understand this mission, we first need to get familiar with the toolkit. Let's break down the anatomy of a flower and see how each and every part plays its role.
Okay, so inside a flower, you've basically got two key teams. On the male side, you have the androecium, which is the collection of stamens. And on the female side, the gynocium, which is made up of one or more pistils. These are the two main players in our reproductive story.
First up is the anther. The best way to think of this is as a pollen factory. Seriously, it's usually a two-lobed structure. And inside, it's just churning out the male gametes, packaging them up inside these tiny, tiny grains of pollen.
And here's the package itself, the pollen grain. Now this is so much more than just dust. It's like a microscopic armored vehicle built to protect its precious genetic cargo. Its outer shell is made of a substance called sporopollenin, which is one of the most durable organic materials known to science. It can survive intense heat, strong acids, you name it. It's literally nature's ultimate armor.
Now, over to the female side. The stigma is the mission's destination. It's a specialized landing pad for that pollen. But it is an incredibly selective one. The stigma acts like a gatekeeper with this amazing ability to recognize pollen from its own species and flat out reject any imposters.
And hidden deep within the flower's ovary lies the ultimate prize, the ovule. Think of this as a secure vault, and inside that vault is the female egg cell. The entire epic mission of that pollen grain is to get inside.
So we've got our pollen factory and we've got our target. But there's a huge problem, right? Plants can't move. So how on earth does the pollen make its epic journey from point A to point B? Well, the answer is a process called pollination. This is the absolutely ingenious strategy that plants have evolved to overcome their immobility. It's all about creating a bridge to carry that pollen across the physical gap.
And plants have a few different strategies for this. There's autogamy, which is the simplest. It's self-pollination within a single flower. Then you have geitonogamy. That's when pollen travels to another flower but on the same plant. And then there's xenogamy. This is true cross-pollination, pollen traveling to a completely different plant. And that last one, it's absolutely crucial for creating genetic diversity.
Now, of course, plants can't do this alone. They need to recruit outside help. These are the agents of pollination, and they fall into two main groups. You've got the abiotic or non-living agents like wind and water, and then you have the biotic or living agents. We're talking bees, butterflies, birds, even bats.
And this is where you can really see how form follows function. Wind-pollinated flowers, they don't need to be showy. They're all business. They just produce tons of lightweight pollen and have these big, feathery stigmas to catch it. But animal-pollinated flowers, they're the ones we find so beautiful. They invest all their energy into bright colors, strong scents, and sugary nectar, all as a reward to attract their animal delivery service.
Okay, so the pollen has landed, the journey is over, but the mission has just reached its climax. What happens next is a spectacular event, something totally unique to flowering plants. It's called double fertilization.
So why is it called double fertilization? I mean, what's that all about? It's because when that pollen grain finally reaches its destination, it doesn't deliver one male gamete, it delivers two. This is where things get really clever. One for the egg, okay, that makes sense, but what is the second one for? It involves two separate but equally crucial fusions. Here it is, the brilliant two-part plan. The first male gamete fuses with the egg cell, just like you'd expect. This creates the zygote, which will become the tiny plant embryo. But the second male gamete fuses with two other nuclei in the ovule to create something called the endosperm. And the simplest way to think about this? One gamete creates the baby, and the other one creates a packed lunch for the baby. It's genius!
With fertilization complete, the mission enters its final phase, securing the next generation. The flower's job is almost done, And now the focus shifts to developing the final products, the seeds and the fruit that protects them.
So what happens to that packed lunch? The endosperm? Well, plants have two strategies. Some seeds, like peas and beans, they eat their lunch right away. The embryo just consumes the entire endosperm as it develops. But other seeds, like wheat and corn, they save that food supply for later to give them a burst of energy when they finally start to germinate.
And what about the fruit itself? In most cases, like a mango, the fruit develops only from the flower's ovary. We call these true fruits. But sometimes other parts of the flower get in on the action. With an apple or a strawberry, for example, other floral parts swell up to become the juicy bits we eat. We call those false fruits, not because they're fake, but just because they're made of more than just the ovary.
So, we've laid out the rules of sexual reproduction. But like with any set of rules, nature has found some absolutely fascinating ways to bend them. Let's look at a clever shortcut some plants have evolved. This shortcut is called Apomixis, and it's a wild process. It's basically asexual reproduction that looks like sexual reproduction. The plant produces a seed, but it does it without any fertilization at all. The embryo just develops from one of the parent's cells, creating a perfect genetic clone.
So why is this so important? Well, think about hybrid crops. They're often stronger, more productive, but if you plant their seeds, the next generation loses those special traits. But if we could engineer those hybrids to use Apomixis, farmers could replant their seeds year after year, saving a ton of money and keeping those valuable traits locked in. It's a holy grail for agricultural research.
And we'll end with this thought. From all these intricate microscopic processes, a tiny seed is formed. And that one seed holds all the genetic information needed to produce a massive tree. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other small, seemingly insignificant things all around us hold such incredible world-changing potential? Thank you for watching The Explainer.